Oh, thank heaven, it's 7-Eleven. I'm Dominic D'Angelo. I have no sleeves on, and I'm of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and brassringmedia.com. Check it out. But I'm here with Mr. Robert Karplus, WD Creative _ish. Robert, TGIF. Man, we got a SNME coming up, right?
Wow, that was a lot of brain power and spelling on your part, and now you're gonna need a nap.
I am. I had a nap yesterday. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good.
Well,
Are you good?
I'm great. Today's like it's like Christmas Eve is what as I would understand that to be, in the sense that tomorrow is sort of a wrestling Christmas, a wrestling Thanksgiving, a wrestling Arbor Day if we really want to go totally off the rails here. But there is a lot of quality wrestling for you to watch. You've got Great American Bash. You've got Saturday night's main event. Sunday, you got Women's Evolution. AEW apparently has a show of some sort tomorrow. So big things. We're going to start off with Rick Smith.
Yes.
Says, happy my birthday tomorrow is a huge wrestling day. I don't know what I said today. Now I have to convince my wife it's more important than whatever she has planned. So it's a big day for Rick, celebrating his last birthday being married.
How about that? Congratulations, Rick.
Just remember, it is the weekend. People have family responsibilities. You can always record and tape these things. You can go back and watch the replays later. Just turn off all social media. It's what I tried to do when it was Money in the Bank. And then it got spoiled by one of the Tony nominees. So Dang Tony nominees. Dre Owens says, a week of wrestling. Hello, R&I. Who comes back? Britt, Eddie, Kingston, Keith Lee, Darby, or Jack Perry? At least one of those people, I would suspect, will be returning. I don't think we're getting the hat trick of all five. Wrestling Old Head says, happy Friday, everyone. Gonna need a wrestling detox after this weekend. That is what I say after every wrestling weekend, and yet here I am, just as we are every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on the plethora of platforms. But it's too early for us to wrap this up, Tom. We've got a lot of previewing to do. Mr. D'Angelo, you steer the ship.
Yes, let's get down to the brass and tacks of this weekend coming up here. We have a whole big lineup happening, and we're going to start with Saturday night's main event. The wrestling weekend will not start with that, but we'll start with this just because it's forefront of our minds somewhat. Yes, we have Randy Orton taking on Drew McIntyre set for this. Robert, what are your predictions for this? It's Drew McIntyre just returned, cut a very, very nice promo, unexpectedly, but it was really good. Not unexpectedly nice promo, unexpectedly returned. But,
unexpected return, yes, in the sense that he just sort of popped up. He was just, one day was not there, the next day was there. We kept thinking there was going to be some big dramatic return. There wasn't. And we're getting this match that sort of also came out of left field. This just feels like, let's throw two big names in a match together. I think it's probably too early to beat Drew McIntyre in his return, given that Randy just lost in Saudi. It's probably too soon to beat Randy. So that, to me, is the recipe, the makings of a non-finish. A count out, a disqualification, something somewhere where there's going to be further intrigue.
That is intriguing, Robert. If I had to wager, I guess I would say Drew McIntyre gets the win here. I think we're going to be on a trajectory of Randy Orton and a little bit of his fall to the Viper once again. So,
well, the only way in which you could have Drew beat Randy, and I think I talked about this yesterday on Working Stiff, which is available now wherever you get your podcast, is that Randy is felled not by Drew McIntyre and his sword, but by a lingering back injury caused by one Cody Marie Rhodes.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
Devin Dowling, who is traditionally bringing the darkest timelines imaginable, said maybe the Wyatt Six take out Drew and Orton. Devin, you are unbeaten in coming up with predictions that truly chill the soul.
If Devin Dowling could book a nightmare card for Robert Karplus, he would be the guy to pick. He'd be the guy to pick. Shout out to you, Devin. All right, Robert. What else we have on tap for Saturday night's main event is LA Knight taking on Seth Rollins. You and Scott had an intriguing discourse about this on Working Stiff, but let's get your thoughts here. What do you think of this match? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, they clearly neutralized Jey Uso and Sami Zayn to ensure that there would be no outside interference.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see a world in which Seth Rollins loses to LA Knight. I get that LA Knight had a pop on Raw. He tends to get those when he's out there because he's sort of been like built in a lab. He's like a not a wellness violation lab, sorry, but like a synthetic version of what a wrestler is. He's got a catchphrase that's over. He talks like Steve Austin. He bounces around like he's The Rock, but it's like the sum of the parts don't really equal superstar. And I don't see Seth losing with the momentum that his group has right now until he winds up running into CM Punk. And even then, he's still got that Money in the Bank briefcase to cash in and become our next world champion.
Now, I don't mean to pull a Devin Dowling here, but earlier this week, I kind of threw out the hypothetical of we saw some tension between Seth and Braun Breaker after Braun grabbed the mic. What if they decide to pivot away from Seth in this faction here with Paul Heyman, and instead they insert LA Knight into the equation? What would you think of that, Robert?
Way too soon. There's a lot of money on the table with this group as a group. They're not going to do that. And the one thing that we never want is to leave money on the table. But I got a way for you guys to put some money in your pocket, because this weekend WWE runs it back with Saturday night's main event and Evolution, and my bookie has odds on every match. Gunther's a heavy favorite over Goldberg, but stranger things have happened in that ring. Rollins versus LA Knight, we just talked about it. The crowd is behind Knight, but he's still a plus 350 underdog, with Seth being positioned as the main guy for the WWE. TNA's Jordan Grace is looking to shock JC Jane for the NXT title. Ignore the fact that the copy calls her TNA's Jordan Grace. We know that she is also in the WWE, but if you've been watching, you already know where the value is hiding. At MyBookie, you're not just betting winners, you're betting entrances, turns, shock wins, and getting paid when you read the story right. Sign up with code RUMOR, and we'll back you on your first deposit. $100 gets you $50 extra. $200 gets you a Benjamin, not just Shelton. What you do with that money is up to you. 2 shows, 1 weekend. Bet smart, cash in only at MyBookie. Dom?
Yes.
There is a main event on this Saturday night's main event that we do need to talk about, and it's not just the betting odds. It is Gunther and Goldberg.
Yes. I am very amped for this match. I mean, the match I'm most excited for this weekend. I know Scott Chaplin's ears are probably burning, but yes, that's the match I'm looking forward to the most. And your ears might be burning too on that. But what are your predictions on this bout here, Robert?
My ears are burning because I lit a Q-tip. And yeah, no, it's a bad Simpsons reference. Anyway, Gunther most likely. There's no way Gunther is going to lose this. The theory that we had posited that I'll float out here. There's a lot of SAT words today. I don't really know why. Seth comes out to try to cash in. Goldberg is the hero, and he spears Seth, but winds up getting hit with the briefcase in some form or fashion. Gunther takes advantage. We wind up getting a post-retirement Goldberg taking out Rollins to make everybody feel happy. Maybe. I don't know. The problem is, we know it's Goldberg's last match, and any wrestler knows in your last match, you go out on your sword.
Yeah.
Problem is, Goldberg ain't that kind of person. He is a guy who has been oblivious to wrestling for 27 years.
That's why I like him.
That's why you like him. Yeah, and there's in his mind, I can't lose in front of my kid. I can't lose in front of Atlanta, a city that I'm not actually from, but I'm going to pretend to be from. So I don't know. You can't weaken Gunther. You need a strong Gunther going into SummerSlam. but maybe Goldberg finds a way to redeem it. Maybe they trick Bret Hart into coming out there and Goldberg finishes the job.
I'm the nostalgic optimist, Robert, and I will say that I think Goldberg will win the title. And that Gunther's pretty Teflon. He can weather this storm. He can win it back at SummerSlam, and you steal some headlines from AEW doing that big time.
Look, the fact that you think that Goldberg is winning this title means that when you walk into a room, you're not walking in brain first, but what you might be doing, guys, is entering a room dick first.
Yes.
Blue Chew isn't just a tablet. It's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. Guys, this isn't just about performance. It's about legacy or third leg. See, this is what they give me. I'm just like Gunther here trying to make the most of what they've handed me. But you can give your gal's group chat something to talk about. You know, when you lay it down, they're talking about how it gets up. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. We've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use promo code RUMOR at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for details and important safety information. And a big thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo. This is what happens when I don't pre-read the copy, and I'm living this real time with you all. Blue Chew's great. Folks writing the copy, not always great. Something that is going to
Robert, don't be so hard on yourself. Get BlueChew.com, promo code Rumor.
I'm not even going to do the transition I was about to do because there was no way to get to the Women's Evolution pay-per-view in a tasteful and tactful manner. So there is the Women's Evolution pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. We genuinely don't have time to get into all the predictions facts. We got to talk AEW All In. I think the one prediction that I am walking away from on this is I think we're going to see a cash-in.
Interesting.
I think we've got to make Women's Evolution feel like an important event coming out of the weekend. You know, we're going to be here on Monday at noon Eastern talking about everything that happened over the weekend. And if all we're doing is saying, hey, Tiffany Stratton beat Trish Stratus and retained, that's a big yawn. But if there's a cash-in and Naomi walks away with the title, that's a top news story for the weekend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What? I don't remember the rules for a cash in. It can be either title though, right? So
it can be either title. She could cash in on Io.
Mm-hmm. So that would be interesting too, I think.
It could be. I have some other theories and ideas on that. Again, we kind of went into detail on working stiff there. We don't have that kind of time right now, but let's just say it did involve Paul Heyman. We've got AEW All In, and it is supposedly going to be over before Saturday night's main event starts. So a quick, tight 5-hour show, Dom.
Yes. Nice and easy. That's how you want every wrestling show, is at least 5 hours minimum.
Easily.
But we do have Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay battling the Young Bucks for not the stakes of the EVPs, but it so happens if Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay loses, they will not be able to challenge for that AEW World title for a whole dang year.
Well, no. So if the Young Bucks lose, they are no longer executive vice presidents, which, as someone who does corporate governance law, that's how any company handles their board and their executives. We once lost a chief technology officer in an Inferno match. It was brutal. That being said, there is no way in which the Young Bucks lose their EVP-ness. Didn't sound right.
Wow, that sounded really bad.
Because it's oddly specific that Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland can't challenge for one particular title for a year, when a year from now, we know that All In is going to be in what country, Dom?
The United Kingdom.
It is going to be in the United Kingdom. And where is Will Marie Ospreay from?
So happens to be the United Kingdom.
My goodness gracious me. It's almost like it writes itself. You're freeing up Swerve and Ospreay to do other things. You're freeing up whoever the world champion is at the end of this show to not have to worry about either of those guys, and you keep those damn young bucks around and in the mix. Dom, move on to the next match.
You got it. We also have a women's casino gauntlet match. What do you think happens here, Robert? We get some returns, probably, I'd imagine. Some surprises.
Yeah, but is there really? I was going to ask a question that was, again, going to sound like a blue chew ad. I was going to say, is there a woman on the roster that really moves the needle? That is not what I meant.
Not that kind of needle.
I don't think that there's any surprise that they can bring back. Jamie Hayter's injury obviously caused some issue, and that's why they've had to kind of rejigger things a little bit here. Starting with Megan Bayne and Chris Statlander, I can see a world where Chris Statlander wins thanks to Marina Shafir to try to get the Death Riders a little bit more momentum. There's a world in which Willow wins. My money is still on Megan Bayne.
Yeah, she seems like the safe bet, I would think, in a lot of ways because of how she was debuted and how they've been kind of protecting her in certain manners. All right, Robert. Next up, we got a TNT Championship match. Your favorite, Adam Cole, taking on the Proto Monster. What's his name? Kyle Fletcher.
Kyle Fletcher. His name is Kyle Fletcher. He
Proto
has no nicknames.
Right? Protostar. That's what I was thinking.
Protostar absolutely sounds like something that if you took, you'd be testing for a wellness policy violation.
It does sound like that.
Devin Dowling also just realized that Megan Bayne is with Joey Janela. Yeah, Joey Janela clearly has some sort of talisman, some sort of mind control device. The roster of ladies that he has, having had the pleasure of working with Joey Janela and being in his presence, I don't get it.
You don't get the bad boy?
I don't get it in the same way. I don't get how Adam Cole has been TNT champion for this long. But it has been about as eventful as the Danny Garcia run, as eventful as Danny Garcia re-signing with AEW. I'm sure that he wishes he had a time machine to go back and do all that over again. This is Kyle Fletcher rescuing the TNT title. This is him bringing it to the Don Callis family. And something tells me this might not be the only piece of gold that winds up with the Don Callis family.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I do think Kyle Fletcher wins. We also have the AEW World Tag Team Championship, the Hurt Syndicate. That's Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin battling the Patriarchy. That's Christian Cage and Nick Wayne against Jet Speed. That's Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. Do Hurt Syndicate retain, or do you see this switching hands to further storyline?
Well, I think what we saw at the on Dynamite, I was going to say the end of Dynamite, it's the middle of Dynamite, with the chair being used to damage Lashley's ankle, to take out Shelton Benjamin. They've clearly softened those guys up, and they were softened up because MJF had hightailed it because of Mark Briscoe. Mm-hmm. So I see a world in which the Hurt Syndicate do not retain. I don't think that they necessarily get pinned. I think that a miscommunication between Nick Wayne and Christian Cage leads to Jet Speed getting those tag titles. And the reason being, there are two tag teams who can be immediately plugged in for a feud with Jet Speed. One being FTR, who really are not on the show. I know they're in 0 Hour. That doesn't count. The other team, the Young Bucks.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, Robert. I mean, you would think they would have a very extremely long dominant run, the Hurt Syndicate, as a tag team champion. But I think there's just more to do with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin outside of a tag team champion. So, yeah, I will say they lose. If I had to predict, I will go Jet Speed wins it. Okay. Next up, Robert, we have the men's casino gauntlet match. Mark Briscoe starting things off, who I just interviewed, by the way, brassringmedia.com. Check it out. Great topics and stuff.
Did you know? Did you get to ask him the question I had?
I didn't. I did not.
That was a, by the way, so that was a Warner Discovery synergy question. The idea was, Dom goes, you have any questions for Mark Briscoe? I was going to go ask him if his word of the day is inspired by Pee Wee Herman, because there's a Pee Wee Herman documentary currently airing on HBO Max. This is me trying to help you out, Dom. I'm trying. It don't work. What also ain't going to work is Mark Briscoe winning this. It is going to be Maxwell Jacob Friedman winning the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal and getting the opportunity to cash in. I think there will be a surprise or two mixed in here. Again, I don't think anybody of any true material nature. I know some people were thinking maybe this is where Adam Copeland comes back. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I'm going to play the field and say that MJF doesn't. I'm thinking somebody else, because typically that seems like the logical explanation, right? He wins it, and you further a storyline with him being in the mix of all that. But AEW typically doesn't do that, So I'm going to push back and say.
So the reason I'm leaning on it is because again, you look at the tea leaves here. That's why you visit our friends at MyBookie. Use promo code Rumor. But the fact that you could have a segment on Dynamite where MJF is celebrating and the rest of the Hurt Syndicate is sitting there upset that they lost their tag titles. And that little thing of Max being like, wasn't all in amazing? Wasn't this the best ever? And you've got angry Bobby Lashley standing right there.
It is good.
I also see a world in which Mark Briscoe can goad Max into putting that Casino Gauntlet contract on the line in a hog pen match.
Ooh, I do like that. See, Robert, I'm all for what you're predicting, 100%, but I just don't think it's going to happen. All right. What will happen is a match for the Unified Championship. It's Kenny Omega. It's Kazuchika Okada. Who wins this one, Robert?
Well, I finally convinced Justin Barrasso. We spoke after that it's going to be Okada. I don't see a world in which Kenny Omega wins the unified, fused together, melted into one title. This is the thing. By the way, Hogpen match was fully bait just to get Devin Dowling to agree that it's a great idea. Just king of the darkest timeline, Devin Dowling.
I want it to happen.
We can make that go away. Anyway, you need to establish this as sort of your 1B world titles, which means you need to have a number of matches going forward and have that thing be defended on a somewhat regular basis. Kenny Omega currently is not able to do a week in, week out schedule. They're paying Okada a lot of money, and he is someone who, if you just say Okada is going to be wrestling and defending a title, you can draw a certain degree of eyeballs and interest. There are two individuals coming out of All In, most likely, who are not going to have anything on their dance card. Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland. Those guys going after Okada over the next few months, boy, that's intriguing. Samoa Joe, who has history with Kazuchika Okada, going after that title. Man, that's interesting. Heating up Brody King, having to go after it, that's interesting. If Kenny wins, you're not going to get a defense for another 3 months. And it'll probably happen at a damn New Japan show.
Yeah. No, you very much made a compelling case, and I'm 100% with you on that. I do think Okada wins now too.
There's also the idea of, again, you have on the next Collision, the Don Callis family standing there. Kyle Fletcher, gold. Okada, gold. Konosuke Takeshita, no gold. Because he's going to the G1, so he's not going to be winning the Ring of Honor title. But when he returns, I think he's going to be upset, and he's going to go after Okada.
I like it. Did you see that Lance Archer wanted to big boot the Rizzler?
Yes, weekend? I saw that. I fully endorse that.
Let's make it happen.
Though the problem is, because it's AEW, they'll still do a 25-minute match.
Oh, my God.
And it'll be 50-50.
It'll be back and forth.
The Rizzler will just be lying in the corner, just sucking air. Just slowly breathing in and out of a popcorn bag that still has popcorn in it so he can still eat and inhale the popcorn.
Oh, that's not nice.
We're bullying a child. And by the way, I like AJ a lot. Big Boom AJ is a really great guy. The Rizzler.
You don't like the Rizzler?
No.
No,
Dom, I don't like the Rizzler. You know what I do like is this next match. I have no idea.
This next match that will likely be 50-50 is Toni Storm defending her AEW Women's World Championship against Mercedes Moné, the CEO. Robert, is she going to be the CEO after this match is said and done with the title around her waist?
I think she is, because here's the problem. much like the old doo-wop song, "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow?" If Mercedes were to lose, she still has 7 other belts. And now she's the loser defending all these other titles that are already now definitively secondary because she lost to the other champion. I think that you need to have Mercedes win. Maybe by winning this, she just vanquishes all those other titles. That way they're freed up, so you don't have to pin her 6 times. And now she is the singular women's force.
Yeah, I think she has to win this match, not just for that reason, but for the reason that, hey, you got this star in, you have not put her to the world title level yet, and she's been there for well over a year and a half at this juncture. So make the most of it. Have her go on a run, and Toni Storm is already great, so she's already established, and you can further things with Mercedes Moné. They're furthering some things here. Hopefully, with the AEW World Championship Texas Death Match. The main event, it's going to be Jon Moxley, the champion, taking on Hangman Adam Page. Robert, you made the case as to why Will Ospreay should have been in this role, but it is Hangman Page. And what do you think AEW will do with this match?
Blood, Dom. I think they'll do blood.
Okay.
I think there'll be thumbtacks and glass and a cattle prod and the Rizzler and all kinds of other unspeakable horrors used in this. I think we're going to go full on Avengers Endgame, where like what you had at WrestleMania 40. I can see a world where Jack Perry returns. I can see a world where Darby Allin returns. I don't see a world where Jon Moxley retains.
I don't either. I see a world where Eddie Kingston returns, perhaps.
You could, but is Eddie Kingston going to get as big of a pop as Darby Allin?
Yes, 100%.
I don't know that the fans. Here's the problem. Part of it is the fans are not necessarily clamoring for Eddie Kingston at the moment the way they seem to be for Darby. The other problem is when you're sitting way, way back, 20,000 people deep in a baseball stadium, and you see a slightly portly bald guy running around, and they may think that it's Gabe Kidd. There is no mistaking Darby.
They could think Darby is a kid, though, coming out. He's tiny. There you go. Why not both? Have both. They're both.
If it was me and I had the pen and I was able to do whatever, this would end with MJF cashing in and winning the title. Hangman wins. We're all happy. Steal the finish I've been predicting for SummerSlam. Do it here, and then you tune into Dynamite, and it's Hangman and MJF, and they're off to the races. Darby can go deal with Jon Moxley, and that's 2 separate matches right there. It's how you build stuff going forward. But whatever happens, we got you covered. We will be here as we are every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative_ish X account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo and ad-free shows. So on behalf of the most beloved Pittsburgh Pirate outside of Jim Leland, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
I better start ripping some cigs in the dugout like Jim.